literally read it so many times. I'm reading it backwards now.
I think this is a good note for everybody out there.
He says that I don't pull well on TikTok, so
He doesn't. It's
videos
just a
with
fact.
me.
It just doesn't pull well. It's called social media for a reason, and it's not selfish media.
I just gotta clear something up. You weren't the 12th man on the field.
There is no easy way to get anything ever.
I'm putting myself up today.
Yeah!
It's Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio podcast, where we discuss the connection between life and acting.
Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio podcast. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Do what Joey Sweeney says when he points down at that subscribe button and go do that thing. All right, so today is a very good topic. Prove me wrong. And what I mean by this is I think that you're going to benefit in life if you come from a place of weirdly wanting to be wrong. Kind of like this challenge of like bring it. Like, I hope I'm wrong. I hope you prove me wrong. I don't think I am. I hope you prove me wrong. Come prove me wrong. That attitude is going to get you really far in life. There's a boy, I should have been prepared with this because I can't remember if it was Napoleon Hill or Dale Carnegie. Anyway, one of the big guys says I could be wrong. I often am. Let's evaluate the facts. I mean, I love that.
I feel like that's. I mean, yeah, you said it comes from somebody else, so I believe you. But I mean, I attached that quote to Matthew Deering.
Yeah, it's not mine.
Yeah, I know, but you always say that, and that was like your trademark for a while.
No, I mean, well, I was being funny because you had never heard it, and I kept repeating it because honestly, I actually wanted you to get this, Joey. I could be wrong. I often am. Let's evaluate the facts. If you approach it from that, which is my take on this is, I might be wrong. I probably am wrong. Please prove to me that I'm wrong. Please prove to me that I'm wrong. Because if you can prove to me that I'm wrong, that means you just made me smarter. I'll take it.
Yeah.
The problem is when you approach things from, I'm right. I don't really want to hear your point of view. Yeah. Okay, I'll hear what you have to say, but I know I'm right. That's where we get ourselves into trouble.
Yeah.
Like, I know for a fact I'm right, but I'll hear you out anyway. You know, instead of very, very possibly I could be wrong. But here's the important thing. And, it's funny because you picked up on that trend, facts, and you were that's the thing.
Facts.
You were the first one around here to say facts. You didn't come up with facts.
No.
But then we started getting funny about it and calling them Joey Sweeney facts because you were the first one around here to say it, right?
Which, I mean, then that specific phrase.
That
is
was
mine.
you, yeah.
Which is cool.
But anyway, what the saying is, or what the rule is I could be wrong. I often am. Let's evaluate the facts. Why is that important? Because I need to know if there's something I don't know. And I need to know if you're looking at a fact that maybe you think is a fact, but maybe it's not a fact. And then we could talk about something else besides even the thing that we're arguing about. Like, maybe it's not, whatever we're arguing about might not even be the point. Because if one of the facts ends up being refuted and it turns out that that fact is not true, what I thought was a fact turns out to be not a fact, now all of a sudden we have to go back and go, okay, now based on the new set of facts, am I right or are you right? Or who's right? And even the idea of being right kind of doesn't matter. The only issue with being right is when someone else is trying so hard to be right that sometimes you have to put them down.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's not like I would want to be right, but I'm like, I can't keep listening to you lying to yourself or lying or thinking a certain way or spreading a certain thing when I know it not to be true, and here's the reason why.
For sure. Yeah. It's interesting because, I mean, this doesn't like it's not the exact situation, right? But, you know, I started the TikTok videos and whatever, and Seahawks are our rivals, right? But we talked a couple weeks ago on the show. I was like, I think Russell Wilson is a phenomenal athlete, phenomenal quarterback. We play him again tonight. But I really do. I like his game. I respect him. Hate playing him, but I like him. So when I talk to Seahawks fans and then they get all mad and they like try, you know, they talk about Russell Wilson and how good he is, I'm just like, yeah.
Agreed.
Well, and then
okay.
they're like, okay, well then how do you think you're gonna win? And I'm like, well, I like our team. I like our chances. That doesn't change the fact that Russell Wilson is an amazing quarterback and a dynamic player in the National Football League.
Great. So let me go down that same path of the Seahawks here and give you an example of me probably being wrong. I actually don't know, but probably being wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. If you would have asked me, even recently, but more so when I was like more heated about this, if you would have mentioned Pete Carroll's name to me, the coach of the Seahawks, I would have said he's a cheater.
Yeah.
I would have just said he is a cheater. And why? Well, because he left USC right before a bunch of scandals came out and stuff. So his slate ended up staying clean, but it looked
sketchy
to the eye that it was sketchy. At the time there, it was sketchy. Now, why do I care? Well, because I'm an ASU fan. They're in our division in college football. We would have to play against them. And when you find out that things were sketchy, you're going, "Oh, this year you've been winning, but it hasn't been legit." And this guy's behind it. So then when I see him dancing with the players and doing the thing with the Seahawks, I'm like, "You're just full of it." Right? Like that's the thing. Now, if you were to tell me facts and lay out the facts and go, here, actually look at this affidavit, look at this and this. It turns out he didn't know. It turns out as soon as he did know, he left because he wasn't all about that. Like whatever it is. And I've never been shown those facts, but if you showed me those facts, I'd have to concede that point.
Yeah.
To the point where even like I can be honest and go, I say Pete Carroll's a cheater. I actually have no reason to say that, not truthfully, because I don't have any facts that he is.
Yeah. I mean, I did the same thing with Tom Brady for years. I didn't like Tom Brady. I felt like he was a cheater because of everything that came out.
And remember when I refuted you on that?
Yeah, you did.
And you would not
No.
concede your point.
No.
But now
really
you can.
didn't
Now
like
you
him.
can look at it and go, okay, honestly, this is my point of view.
Yeah.
This is like this, and I kind of just don't like the guy for whatever reason. But I can concede now that I don't actually have any facts to back this up.
Yeah.
So I could say that this is my opinion based on what I've seen, based on the media that's been presented to me, which I don't know is true or not true.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because like him and Belichick were so close that you couldn't really tell who was doing what.
Yeah.
You know, so he probably got a lot of flack. But now that he's in Tampa, like there's been nothing sketchy. He's lost games. He's lost games by a lot. He's also won games by a lot. Like he just is a quarterback. Like he's a great quarterback, and he is he's proven that by going somewhere else.
I heard the balls in Tampa Bay though, they started getting less air in them. I'm just kidding.
Oh man,
That's hearsay.
Yeah. No, but seriously, like it's just interesting because I would associate the two, and really I don't think Tom Brady had anything to do with it. Bill Belichick's been caught cheating before, but that's irrelevant. I was taking that and maybe what he's done and putting it on Tom Brady, and that's not fair.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And watching a guy who did what he did in like the last Super Bowl he was in, and just going like, okay, how can you not treat him the same way you treat Russell Wilson? You know, and just go, you know what, dude's good. Like he's a good quarterback, straight up. You watch him read, you know, and he's not. His story is actually really cool. You know, like that's why I've actually always liked Tom Brady. And I didn't want to fight you on it because I'm not like a huge Tom Brady fan or whatever, but I love the underdog story.
Yeah.
And so watching him come up the way that he did, the fact that he was totally underrated, barely got drafted, even through college and high school, had to keep fighting. He didn't even get recruited. His coach had to beg Michigan to take him. Then he was third string. He had to work his way up. He finally got first string. Then he's first string, and they bring in a kid who's a freshman who's like the most touted freshman to come out of high school ever, and they take away Tom Brady's job as a senior and give it to this freshman, and they have to like they have to share the quarterback responsibility for his senior year until halfway through the year, this other kid played like 3/4 of the game. They're down by like 20 something, and Tom Brady roars them back. They lose, but he brings them back to like within 3, and the way he played, like the type of like fire he had, the coach is like, that's our quarterback. Like he had to keep him in, and then they never lost a game after that year. Then you go to the pros. He didn't get selected. Why? Because the optics weren't good.
Yeah.
You looked at Tom Brady. And here's the thing. Like here's another thing with facts, right? Okay. So what are the facts? Okay. Here's this kid in college, and he was. Why'd they take away his starting job as a senior? What's wrong with him? People say.
Yeah.
Like there must be something wrong with him. I can't see why they did it. They're not telling me. They're saying he's great, but I'm like, the fact is they took his job away, so he can't be that good. That's kind of what people are thinking, right? Okay. Then they look at the next thing and they look at the intangibles. He was slow.
Yeah.
Like not fast. He was slow.
Yeah.
For a quarterback. You see, it's funny. You see the pictures of him from his draft day. He's skinny. Like doesn't look like he's in that great a shape. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's slow. And you know he's not super tall, super strong. Like he doesn't have any of the things that are like, okay, stand out.
Yeah.
And so the fact that he was a winner, though, that was the fact that people missed. That he was a winner. And if you watched him play and looked at the fire in his eyes, that's the difference. And that's why, like, when I talk about Kyler Murray, I go, he's a winner. There's a thing that like some people have, they are winners. He's that.
Yeah, for
You know?
sure. 100%.
And you and I have had this talk before. I want to be surrounded by winners. I'm a winner. I'm gonna follow through. Like we're gonna do the thing. You know, I got that Will Smith thing in my head. Like I'm gonna do it or I'm gonna die trying.
Yeah.
You know, like literally, that's how I feel about it.
For sure.
Or I'm not gonna take it on. But if I take it on, it's like, and sometimes I'm like, dang it, what'd you do that for? Why'd you say yes? You know. But once I've said yes, like, dude, we're in this thing. We're doing it.
Yeah, I've heard you do that a ton of times where you're like, I didn't mean to do that to myself.
Right.
And then you go and you crush it. And I was just going to say this. Astrid's a huge Patriots fan, so I'm sure she has a Tom Brady jersey somewhere.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's cool, you know, and it, you know, I don't know. I have a hard time. I got a hard time with the Russell Wilson thing, but that's just because they're our arch rivals. But I respect him though, so I'm with you on that point.
Yeah, I just like he has a podcast. He has certain things I haven't listened. Like I don't subscribe to his podcast or anything, but I've heard like clips from it, and he's just a genuine dude. Like, and he has that mentality you're talking about, which it scares me a little bit because he wants to play for 10 more years, and I'm like, he probably could. If he wants to, because the dude works. He said it, 363 days a week or a year. He takes Christmas and Thanksgiving off unless he has a game. Then he works all year. That's it.
That's
you know,
tight.
and he said it, and it's like, cool. This dude's no wonder he's successful, and no wonder he gets better with age, even
Right.
though he's a running quarterback and like,
Yeah.
the odds are against you, like he's still just as dynamic as the day he came in.
Well, and you guys know this too. I've had this battle around here before. Where we've battled about things like Sundays, and we've battled about things like weekends and this and that. And I've always been like, well, like what is your dream? Because my dream's pretty big, and my dream it doesn't take Sundays off.
Yeah.
You know, my dream doesn't get the weekend off. You know, it's like my dream hasn't earned that yet. There's no stopping this. And because I love what I do, I'm like, I don't even see it as work anyway. So like we're gonna keep going, you know. And it's like, of course, like now I've got a family, and you know, and then there are certain things that and I consider that work. So I'm going, okay, like that's gonna be something that I'm gonna go and dedicate all my time to and be very present for. But having said that, if I needed to work on a Sunday, like it's no questions. Like it's not even like a complaint. It's like,
yeah,
well, yeah, of course. Like
cool.
what gets us next level? Let's go do that thing.
For sure.
You know, and that can be hard for people to understand. But not everybody has that kind of drive, that kind of mindset, that kind of like, you know, goal of where they want to go. Because I'll tell you right now, there's probably either none, or you can count them on one hand, football players that work 363 days of the year.
Yeah, for sure.
And it
100%.
might be Russell Wilson and Tom Brady.
For real.
You know?
Yeah, it's crazy. And that's, I mean, we went on a football rant, but that's just because I saw such a direct tie with this specific topic. And I think, at least for myself, it's easier when you see an example.
Well, here's the deal. They talk about, you know, we talk a lot about acting and life being parallels. Anybody who's played football or coached football or been a part of football says the same thing. Football is life. Because the principles that you learn, the discipline that you learn from becoming a next level football player will 100% apply to life if you apply those things.
Yeah.
The problem is, like all of us, most football players, they fall off. So you get on a discipline, you start growing, you start developing, and then all of a sudden things go to your head, you start partying, whatever happens, and you fall off the train. Or you get to a certain level and you become content with that. And you don't keep growing like a Russell Wilson.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I like you look at the people that and here's where sometimes we don't get to see the behind the scenes of things, because we'll look at things and go, why didn't that player get a contract? And we'll make decisions, and we'll you know, razz like owners and things like that, but we don't know, because what are they investing in? They're not I've told you this before around here. I'm not investing in your past. I'm investing in your future. You know, I need to look and go, do I believe you're going to be getting better with age, or do I think you're going to be getting worse with age?
Yeah.
With time as we progress. So you look at a Russell Wilson and you go, okay, I hear the way this guy talks. I hear the way he works. He's proven it. There's nothing that he's done that would stop me from thinking that he's going to actually continue to get better. I'm going to pay him more coming up now in the future. Somebody else, you look at it and go, okay, they've been great for us. Awesome. I want to like support them and whatever, but I can't necessarily say that I guarantee that they're going to get better.
Yeah.
And that's the big difference there.
For sure.
All right, so this is what we want to do though in life. Like we want to take this idea of prove me wrong. You want to be willing to be wrong. You want to be excited to be wrong. And you want to connect into this place of like, I don't know, like I've always gotten this way. When I go to train outside of Arizona, and I found something or somebody that's teaching something that I haven't heard from a different angle, or I just watch it and something new clicks for me, I get so excited to come back and tell everybody I was wrong. And it's funny because it's not usually like I'm wrong, but it's like I've been teaching it this way, and based on this revelation I had, I think we can get there faster if we do it this other way. Therefore, in my mind, that makes me wrong. That means I wasn't teaching it the best way it could possibly be taught. So I'm like, let's stop. Remember all that thing I was saying about this? Let's go here instead. And I really enjoy that. Like we used to have every class we would hand out the 10 rules of improv. I had the 10 rules, the guidelines to improv, and then it was like, these are the suggestions for improv, and there were these 10 things. The problem was, because I still agree with everything that was on the list, but the problem is when you handed that out to everybody, most people would just like, they would look at that and be like, oh, I can't do that, I have to do this, I can't do that, I have to do this. And the issue with improv, just like life, there's a reason to break every rule. That there's a time and a place when rules should be broken. And so I looked at the rules and I go, okay, well, we got to prove these wrong. And so now if we hand them out, I hand them out and say, first and foremost, each one of these rules can and should be broken at a certain point. And you need to look at it that way. You have to approach every scene, every scenario with, okay, I probably don't want to ask a question, but here's a way that I could ask a question that would be a really good idea for the scene. So you want to be able to prove yourself wrong, prove any of the concepts that you've been even teaching or doing, prove yourself wrong. Let's take a video. Let's say you're doing a TikTok video. You're like, okay, I've made a TikTok video. What do you want, honestly, when you show somebody? And this is where you got to be careful, because you got to go, okay, am I showing you to get an applause, or am I showing you because I want your opinion? And you ought to be careful about that, because if you want someone's opinion, they should be able to tell you, I don't think it's funny, I don't get it, I don't like it. And then instead of getting offended, you should actually be grateful. You should be like, oh, really? You don't think it's funny? No, I don't. How come? I don't understand what would be funny about it. Like, oh, well, this is the, and then you might be like, oh, okay, I see what you were trying to do. Yeah, I didn't get that. Then you think to yourself, okay, I was wrong. They admitted it was funny, but I was wrong in the way I presented it. Therefore, there's probably a better way to do it. Cool. That person just made my video better. Thank you. You can say thank you instead of getting all mad and angry about it. It's an incredible philosophy to have. But you got to be willing to do that. And most people are so thin-skinned these days that they don't want any critique. You just want to get the prize for nothing.
Yeah.
You want to put up just crap and just like, okay, and then you get all mad when people don't like it. Or, and this is even worse, I feel like, you get so used to people lying to you.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as when you put up a play and you go and you've rehearsed for months and months, and your family and friends know about it, and they come and they show up, and then afterward, and the play was no good. and you know it's no good. It's okay. And they're like, you were so good. That was the best play ever. And you're like you know it's not. And they know they're lying. Like they were falling asleep. They were checking their phone. They were wondering what time it ends. They kept looking at the program going, how far in this are we? Like that's what they're really doing, and no one tells the truth, right? And I'm not saying hurt people's feelings. Like that's not the idea. But I'm also saying if you're the performer, if you're the presenter, you're the creator, you're putting something out there, you need to hold yourself accountable for the fact that you've put yourself out there to be critiqued.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. And I think that's a huge part about being an actor, being a performer is understanding that and being okay with that. Like it's funny you gave the TikTok example. I'm pretty sure you've done that with all my TikToks. Not necessarily but asked. Like, cuz I show you and I'm like, "Hey, I'm about to post this. Like this thing's cool." Or sometimes I'm like, "Hey, I just posted this. What do you think?" And you'll give me the honest feedback and you'll be like, "Cool. I didn't think it was funny. Like, what's the joke here?" And then I'm like, "Oh, this." And then sometimes you're like, "Oh, that's so funny." And sometimes you're like, "Oh, I didn't get it." And then I'm like, "Cool. Good to know for the next one." Like if I post it, or if I didn't post it, which is even better, then I'll be like, "Cool. Let me adjust it, show it to you again." Like same kind of deal. But I know that I can go to you for that honest feedback, because for me, like the platform's about fun. It's about getting to do sports media in some way, but I also don't want to, I don't want to be fake about it. Like I want it to be good because it's a representation of us and a representation of me. And so I enjoy the feedback that you give on videos like that.
So here's a little thing that I just talked to my wife about this yesterday. I climbed into the car and I was just in there because I literally I was working yesterday from 4:30 a.m. until 10:30 p.m. And I mean literally, basically no breaks. So when my wife came to drop off the kids for acting class, I hopped in the car, gave her a kiss, and I sort of just played with my 1.5-year-old for about 10, 15 minutes while Joey and Isabel warmed up the class. And it was really fun. It was an awesome time. But my wife was telling me about all the things that had happened in her day, and it was a lot. It was a lot of things that were going on. And I gave her this advice, and I said, you know, A, I sympathize with you, like that's tough. But I said, B, you can expect all these things to happen again. Like everything that happened, unless you change, you can expect it to happen again. So here's an example, and I've seen this happen. So my 1.5-year-old, he's on the edge of knowing, but doesn't quite know. So it's really hard. He's in that discipline stage where like we have to start the discipline, but you can't be too hard on him because he doesn't really know. Like he kind of knows, but that, you know, so it's hard. You have to navigate that, right?
Sure.
So here's an example. When he gets thirsty, he'll just like look for water. Okay? So let's say he looks for water and he grabs my daughter's water bottle. My daughter's like, she kind of has rights to the water that she filled up for herself. Technically hers, I guess. You know, I bought it. It's technically her water. And so if she snags it back from him, what's he going to do? He's going to cry. So this happened yesterday. And I'm talking like a wailing, like, you know, freak out moment. And here's the non-understanding part of the 1.5-year-old right now is that she could yank that water out of his hand and Leanne could replace it right away with one that looks just the same. That's his, a different color. And he's going to keep wailing because he still wants that one. He doesn't understand why he can't have the one that he had first. Yeah. And so in his mind, it's like, why is he mad? I'm mad because someone ripped something out of my hands. As far as he's concerned, it's not hers. He doesn't understand ownership. So in his mind, it's like he had it and you took it. And I'm mad that you took the thing that was mine. Okay. So I told my wife, I'm like, all right, so here's, you can expect that to happen every single time. So here's what you have to do. From now on, always fill up 2 water bottles. Always. Don't give one to the daughter without giving one to the son first. Like it happens at the same time, unless you don't care that this might happen, because it probably will happen. And then when that happens, you're going to deal with the same stress, the same moment of him trying to calm himself down for 30 minutes just because somebody took a water bottle out of his hand, which is so frustrating. But he's 1.5 and he's in that in-between stage and we don't know. So the idea is to change, to adapt. All right. I bring that up because I wanted to come back to your TikTok or to anybody's like video that maybe you're going to do, right? And you're right. You have showed me a lot of TikToks and I do give you similar advice. But I'm curious if you could grow, if you could think about this concept of why haven't you and why wouldn't you? And probably it's just you haven't thought of it. I don't know. But think about this. Why wouldn't you start coming to me earlier? And it's like,
yeah,
hey, I'm thinking about making a TikTok about the game. Here's the idea I had. And I'd be like, good idea. And then you're like, cool. And then a little bit later, here's the song I was thinking of doing. Here's what I was thinking about putting with it. This. Then I might go, that's funny. You know where the comedy is here actually. So if you just reverse this, and this, it's way funnier. You'll get to the joke, whatever. And then you won't have wasted a bunch of work. Because I think that's the big problem of why people get their feelings hurt is like they want all the ownership of something. And they're like, I want to be the one that did it. And then they've done it all themselves. They put all this work into it. And I get that, actually. Like, I've put all this work into something, and I go to present it to you, and then you don't like it. It sucks.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks for me.
Yeah.
To put a bunch of work into something and show it to somebody, and then have them be like, I hate it for this, and the reason. I've had to train myself to say thank you to that, because that's really hard.
For sure.
If I now ever have the opportunity, I try to ask for advice along the way. You're not as good at writing emails as I am.
Nope, not
Correct?
even close.
But when there's going to be an email that's important, an email that's going to go out to many people, if you're around, I always ask you to double check it. I just did it the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
The reason I do that is because I want to be proven wrong. I want you to find something and I want you to go, well, what about this? Like I want it.
Yeah.
Like I want the critique.
100%.
Okay. If I had someone in the office who was better at writing emails than I was, then I'd either write it first and then have them look at it instead of you,
Yeah.
because I'm going to get a harsher critique from them, and that's what I would want.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would have them write it because they're just better than I am, and then maybe I would cross-check their work. Or I would come to them before writing the email and say, here's sort of the idea that I'm thinking about doing. This is the direction I want to go. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's where we get ourselves in trouble sometimes, and this is actually another topic, and we should do a whole topic on this. But we had this issue with the improv email.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
You were trying to get me to tell you what something was, and I was like, you should know what it was because you were in class. Like, it's this, and then you're like, well, there's no way I would have known that. I'm like, you should have known that. You were in class. Like, that was our stick point. The real thing was, you either don't know how to explain the thing, or you forgot, or whatever it is. And you're presenting one thing, but it's not really the thing. So if I ask you to write an email, but you end up having to ask me what to write, I might as well write it. It's faster for me to just write it.
Yeah.
Okay. If you come at me from the direction that I just mentioned instead, which is, okay, I'm going to write it. Here's the direction, like the basic concept that I plan on writing. Is that what you have in mind? Or is that correct? Or do
Yeah.
you think that's a good angle?
Yeah.
Then you're now presenting me with an option for me to help you like navigate quickly, instead of saying, hey, do it for me. And then I'll write it. And then I'm like, well, then you might as well I'll just do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and that's one of the situations where I shut down. And so we talked about this the other day, but I shut down there because I was like, you asked me to help you out. I was like, cool, I got you. And then I asked about that thing, and then I felt stupid because it was like, for whatever reason, I felt that kind of like ridicule, and really I just wanted to explain it the right way, because I know I'm not good at writing emails, or not as good at writing emails. So I was like, I don't mind writing the email, but I just want to make sure I'm explaining it correctly. And so then after that, I just kind of shut down, and I did it based on what we had talked about, but I was like, I ended up doing it
and
wrong,
then you thought you would
so-
run it by me, and actually you didn't. So we had talked about it, but
Sure.
but I didn't actually look at it. So what was in the email is not what I thought was in the email,
Yeah.
because what I told you is what I told the class, but you didn't understand that. So however I explained it, you didn't get it, so it ended up going out differently. And again, it might have gone back to this whole idea of shutting down.
Yeah.
Because once you shut down, you stop listening. This is everybody. If you shut down, if you give up on a situation and you're like, okay, I'm done, like I'm now sad, or I'm upset, or whatever, you shut down, you stop listening, you stop being open, you're not going to gain any more information. Like, nothing more is going to grow. You're going to get yourself in a box, and you're going to go, I'm just going to do the thing and finish the thing just to finish the thing. And I'll just do it. I mean, you know what? You don't want to give me advice? I'll just do it this way. I'll just do it. I'll just get it done. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. Well, that's not going to be helpful. Not at all. So the idea coming back here is to go like, all right, rather than trying to get the information from the first place, the idea is to be humble. And it even comes back to the same idea with the TikTok, to be humble along the way. So to go, hey, I know we just learned this thing. I know. Here's what I think it is. Is that right? So it's in other words, it's like, I could be wrong. I often am. Let's evaluate what the work I've already done. That makes it so much easier for the person you're presenting to.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I don't know this, there's no reason I should know this. because that's what we were fighting on. That was the discrepancy. And I'm going, and my thought was, you should know it. You were in the room. I remember you being in the room when I told you the thing. And so it's okay that you didn't remember. It's okay that I didn't explain well enough for it to sink in. That I can take responsibility for. And then I could go, you could be right. Maybe I stunk at explaining this. And the way to know is if 4 or 5 or 6 people, if I ask them that we're in the same class, they don't get it either. They don't understand it. And I go, I didn't explain this very well. That happens to me all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
I do that constantly in class. If I hand out a homework assignment and people bring it back and 5 or 6 people get it wrong, I'm like, dang it, what did I do wrong? I'm like, okay, so I obviously screwed up in explaining this, so I apologize. I start there. And I go, here's what I said, here's what I meant. Here's what we want. And usually people go, oh, okay, that makes sense. I mean, it
Yeah.
happened just the other night when we were doing an improv assignment and we had little groupings. And I went to one group and they were doing it a certain way. And it was wrong. It was not the way that I had mentioned to do it. My immediate response is not, oh, you guys are dumb. You guys didn't know. My immediate response is, if there's smoke, there's fire.
Sure.
If you guys
Yeah.
aren't getting it right, maybe somebody else isn't getting it right too. And if I can find one more person that's not doing it right, guarantee that's on me. I didn't explain it well.
Yeah.
So then I took the time to go around to every group and go, is this what you're doing or is this what you're doing? Explain to me what you're doing. Okay. Yep, you're doing it right. Nope, let's do it this way. You know.
Yep.
And that's how, if you can approach it from that place, and it's not a like this big thing, but it's more like, okay, let me back up and let me present what I do know. Let me give you what I do know. Let me tell you why I said it the way I said it or did it the way I did it, and then be open and very willing and excited to be wrong. So and it's funny because the thumbnail for today, I love the thumbnail. It's because it feels controversial to me. It feels like bring it, like yo, let's go, because it's prove me wrong.
That could explain why there's like nobody in the comments. Like,
But it's like prove me wrong, right? And what I mean is, hey, prove me wrong. Like I actually really want you to prove me wrong, because if you can prove me wrong, I just got smarter.
and also, please prove me wrong and comment if you're watching, because I'm kind of upset that. I mean, Nick and Astrid say good morning, but usually they're in there a couple of times. And
Maybe they say good morning, jumped in the shower.
Yeah, I mean, I
they're-
talked about Astrid's jersey, like
She's
I was
making-
expecting
she's
her
making
to be
coffee,
like
yeah,
TB12, you know, and nothing.
That
Just
you
dead
know what
silence.
you know what they did?
What?
They set their alarm, said good morning, and fell back asleep.
I cannot blame them if that's what
You can relate. I know you
Yeah,
can
I
relate
can
to that.
relate.
I'm excited for tomorrow. I can't even
Tomorrow?
talk about why I'm excited for tomorrow, but I'm excited for tomorrow.
Tomorrow's not Saturday is the
I'm excited for Saturday.
Yeah.
Because it's funny.
I mean, we can talk about the episode. You just don't. I mean, I'll just screen,
No, we can't. We
I'll
can't.
just screen share it really quick.
no, we can't.
Is it like top secret?
I thought it was.
Yeah, I mean it is, but like there's certain things you can say about the episode because we're diving into our middle value, which is love.
Oh yeah.
So
well,
that's the whole episode. It's gonna be a special on Saturday. It's called "Love is the Center," and I'll just share.
it's gonna be so romantic. It's gonna be the most
romantic.
romantic episode.
No, bro. I mean, could be.
Joey.
47 hours live in 47
I
hours.
tricked Joey.
Love is the center.
It's like it's so romantic. He's like, it's not.
And-
oh.
and the comments or the description is on today's episode we're going to dive right into the middle value, love. Our studio community is family to us. The second you walk in the door, you become family, and the feeling is mutual. The amount of support we have from our students is unreal, and we are forever grateful for everyone who walks into our doors. Today we might see a couple of old familiar faces. That's your little.
That's a big hint, bro. All right, hold up. So here's the deal.
That's a big hint.
I wanna throw some out there, right? Okay. Did you say just and then we're gonna wrap the show. We're done. Did you say that Brian had a really good day yesterday?
Yeah.
So,
Great day.
so for those of you watching and don't know Brian, he's one of our co-hosts here, and he's been sick, and so he had a really, really good day, right?
Yeah.
All right. And so, what's funny about me is I'm like, good day. Where you at, bro? Where you at? Where you at, bro? If you had a good day, why aren't you awake today? I'm serious, because I believe in you had a good day yesterday. You need to have a better day today.
Yeah. Astrid said, I'm watching. I'm just speechless.
Good, Astrid. Good. You should be watching. You should be speechless, because I'm sitting here going, Brian, why aren't you commenting right now?
Yeah.
If you had a good day yesterday, you should be building on that good day and making today a better day. So here's what I'm gonna do. And okay, let's say you're not awake. Let's say you got a good excuse. Let's say you had a fever. You don't have a good excuse for not watching the show,
Ooh.
Brian Sweeney.
Ooh. Okay.
So I'm gonna throw a little.
Curveball?
No, like Easter egg.
Easter egg. Ooh.
That's like something hidden in the show.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Brian Sweeney does the Sweener dance on Sundays when the Cardinals win. Brian Sweeney does the Sweener dance on Sundays when the Cardinals win. If Brian doesn't text me that exact phrase, I'll know he didn't watch the show today.
Ooh.
And I'm going to report on it tomorrow. And you cannot tell him to watch the show.
That's juicy.
It's so juicy. I know.
I mean, my dad's probably going to spoil it for you, to be honest.
What do you mean? He's going to tell him?
I mean, he watches the show.
Well, that's
every
fine,
day.
but he can't tell Brian. He shouldn't tell Brian.
Him and my mom.
She shouldn't tell him either.
Yeah, she'll.
Brian should do it because he wants to do it. That's what I'm saying. Because I told him this, and I believe in this, and this is for everybody. This is not just for Brian. I said, you're in the hospital. Cool. You're hurting. Cool. I feel bad for you. I'm with you. I'm praying for you. We're all behind you. The only thing I beg of you is to start asking fighting questions. That's it. I don't expect you to do more than you're capable of doing. I don't expect you to do more than they'll allow you to do. But I expect you to ask fighting questions. And it looks like this. They're like, we'd like you to walk today. He walks. Okay. He gets back into bed. He should ask the question, is it possible that I might be able to walk another time today later? That's a fighting question. And if they say, no, you can't because your heart rate was too high, blah, 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 fine. But if they say, you know what, I'll come back in 3 hours and we'll see where you're at. And if you feel up for it, we'll try. That's a fighting question. And that's a question that's going to get you better. That's puts you in the mindset of, you know what, I'm going to find a way to get better. That's right. So in our lives, we want to, every day, we need to be asking ourselves fighting questions. How do I fight for me today? What's a fighting question today that I can ask me so that I can get better?
Mm-hmm.
Brian Sweeney does the Sweener dance on Sundays when the Cardinals win.
Technically, the Cardinals are going to win on Thursday.
I mean, in general.
today.
In general.
Yeah.
In general, the games
No,
are on
I
Sunday.
like the code.
That's the phrase.
But because we talked about it today, I just want to recap. Even as much love as we gave Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray is going to win tonight, and he is going to be the 2020 league MVP. I called it at the beginning of the season, calling it again. Kyler Murray putting the league on notice. That man's a winner.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Get excited about somebody else proving you wrong. And you got something for me? Tell me about it. Prove me wrong. I'd love to hear about it. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio podcast. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share, follow, comment. Help us spread this light-driven content to the planet. God bless.
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, private lessons, or professional development coaching, visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.
Have a chippy day, everyone. Rough.